Here we are camping in our motorhome, and today I'm going to show you how I keep my radio charged, whether it's camping, motorhoming, walking. So with a solar panel, a 7 amp battery, which you may not want to carry around, and a charge controller. I'll have a go in a moment just to see if you don't want to carry the battery around. You might be able to plug the solar panel straight onto the radio to charge it up. We'll have an experiment. So at this moment the sun's out. It doesn't have to be out to run the solar panel, but it is, so it's a stronger charge. I have plugged in my multimeter straight into the solar panel to see what voltage is coming out of the panel, and at the moment it's 21.4ish. So with 21.4 volts you shouldn't really attach that to your battery directly, because you can fry it. So you use a thing called a charge controller, which reduces it down to a 12 volt charge, which is about 13.8, 14 volts, and it doesn't fry your battery. So at the moment the battery voltage, is about 12.5, 12.6. Which is okay, but you don't want to discharge it much lower. So I'm going to plug on the controller. So the good thing about the controller is that if you run the load, so the radio charging, off of the load wires, which I'm not doing at the moment, the controller will stop the battery draining when it gets too low, because if these lead acid batteries get too low, they're no good and unusable. So with the controller plugged in at the moment, the battery is showing charging at about 13.3, and it'll probably go to about 13.8 on a 12 volt battery, and that's pretty much fully charged. But the controller stops the battery from frying, and it also stops the battery from dying by over discharge. So one of these little controllers, I think this one was about £15, maybe less, off Amazon in the UK. They're well worth it. They save your battery, and it's cheap enough. So shortly I'll charge the batteries. Obviously you can charge the batteries through the daytime while you're using your radio, and recharge your radio in the night time when the sun's gone in. Obviously this is only a 20 watt solar panel. If you want to know more about solar configurations, it's worth reading up about it. This is just a very simple 20 watt solar panel, a 5 amp charge controller. This 20 watt solar panel will give out about 1 amp on a good day, which is plenty to charge a 7 amp battery. On top of the van we got a 150 amps, 150 watt, 350 watt panels equaling 150 watt charging more. And of course I do charge my radio through the van, but this is just an option if you haven't got a van. If you're camping or walking, you might be able to strap this panel to your backpack, or there's lots of other bigger and more foldable panels as well. I did have a 5-watt panel which charged one of these 7-amp batteries, and it didn't charge it fully in a dull day, but it charged it. But obviously the bigger the solar panel, the quicker the charge, and the better the charge you'll get on a dull winter's day. A couple of different radio chargers. I'm not sure how you pronounce this radio, but one of those is a charger with a USB cable on it, which is quite handy. Obviously you need a cigarette lighter with a USB to plug onto the crocodile clips with a cigarette socket before you can use the USB one, or this one is a cigarette plug. So whichever sort you got, this will work. So charging the radio off the cigarette lighter plug into the cigarette lighter socket connected to the battery. You could have a 2-amp battery if you wanted to not carry this one around. I don't know what they weigh actually, but obviously a 2-amp battery is a fair bit lighter. So I did try to charge the radio straight from the controller, and it didn't work. I think you need some battery power to power the controller, so you do need a battery. Another thing I thought, I've got one of these fold-up solar panels with USB socket in them, and to charge the radio, so I don't know if you can see the green light on there, but there's not enough power. There's enough power to run that, but once you start charging it just cuts out. So there's not enough direct sunlight, and of course you need the radio in on charge in the daylight, and you can't charge it at night time because there won't be any sun with this. So I think really you do need a battery, and I think actually one of these 7-amp batteries are probably best. A 2-amp battery I would say will charge the radio once, but these 7-amp batteries you'll probably get 3 charges out of them, and obviously the battery won't be dead. You could charge it a little bit one day, charge it a little bit the next day, and you can use it for 2 or 3 days probably, or 2 or 3 charges. A smaller 2-amp battery, you'll get 1 charge, and you definitely need to recharge it the next day. And if you haven't got good sunlight, you won't have any more charge left in it. So I think a 7-amp battery is definitely better. Thank you. So there you go, just some ideas for some off-grid power for your radio whilst camping or prepping. Thanks very much.